We are back live at your Bolo Punch Boxing Hour, brought to you by George Rogie Insurance. www.bolopunchboxinghour.com. Streaming to you live as always on Ustream.tv. That's really interesting. Get that away from me. Oh my God, Timmy, you need to see that. That is unbelievable. These are all the fights that got us through the week. Sunday night in Osaka, Japan. Junior middleweight action. Nobuhiro Ishida taking on and beating Marco Avendano. He wins a vacant interim junior middleweight championship of the world. 119 to 109, 118 to 110, and 117 to 111. The winner, Nobuhiro Ishida. Very nice.
Wins his vacant interim title.
Yeah, whatever. Saturday night in Grand Prairie, Texas. Welterweight action. Jesus Soto Caras wins a 10-round unanimous against Edvan Dos Barros. Caras moving on up to 24-3-3 with 16 knockouts. Dos Barros 10-7-1 with 7 knockouts. Always exciting to see Jesus Soto Caras, and from what I understand, this is this was definitely not any exception. Caras is probably going to be able to get a chance to land a shot on the Manny Pacquiao Miguel Cotto undercard now because of this performance.
Yeah, you see Caras, you were hoping for the knockout, but honestly, if you look at his record, he doesn't have very many knockouts once he stepped it up. You know.
Well, they already know who Jesus Soto Caras is going to be fighting next. He'll be fighting our good friend Alfonso Gomez. So there you go.
That's going to be Gomez just fought not too long ago as well, and he looked
Gomez's real claim to fame, even more so than being on the contender and fighting and finishing third,
was retiring Gotti, basically.
Well, he was Gotti's last fight for sure. Featherweight action, Miguel Angel Mikey Garcia, TKO victory in the 7th round over Carlos Rivera. Still undefeated is Garcia, 18-0 with 15 knockouts. Rivera moves on down to 16-4. Miguel Angel Garcia is very young. He's only about 20 years old. He's a kid. And they ended up stopping this due to a cut over Rivera's eye. Saturday night, Honolulu, Hawaii, junior flyweight action. Brian, the Hawaiian Punch Valoria.
Gets to fight in
Hawaii. Wouldn't it be cool if he was actually Hawaiian? Won after 12 unanimous rounds against Jesus Uribe. He retains his junior flyweight championship of the world. 118 to 110, 117 to 112, and 117 to 111. Dominant all the way down. These are the 108 pounders.
Yeah, they're not very big guys, so you don't really look for a knockout at somebody.
From what I hear, about another 12 pounds, and Timmy's son will be a junior flyweight. And here's the other part to that little duo, junior middleweight action. Alfonso Gomez, knockout in the 1st round over Raul Munoz. Took him an entire 61 seconds to knock out Munoz. Munoz, not the greatest opposition though. 20-13 with 15 knockouts. Gomez moves on up to 20-4 with 10 knockouts.
But he did look a little bit better than Caras in this one, obviously.
Well, yes, but Caras had the better opposition, so very interesting. But the two have already been paired up. That's interesting that 2 fights that happened essentially during the same weekend, we already know now that those 2 are going to be fighting each other. It's usually much higher profile people that you get designations like that, and I think it's cool that they went ahead and did that. Saturday night, Mexicali, Mexico, junior featherweight action. Celestino Caballero, TKO victory in the 8th round over Francisco Leal. He retains his unified junior featherweight championship of the world. 33-2 with 23 knockouts for Caballero. Awesome. TKO in the 8th. Plenty of knockdowns in that fight too. Lopez does have to fight. They're talking about Juan Manuel Lopez possibly taking on Celestino Caballero. Lopez already has something tied up right now with Rogers Matagua.
Lopez will knock Matagua out, and then he'll knock this gentleman out.
I have a question about African names. And
I got all answers for you, buddy.
I know that you do. I am far from making fun of something. I simply don't understand it.
I'm not very far from that.
You will make fun of it. I know that you will. first names of these African fighters are just they're just interesting to me. Rogers is his first name,
Which is the last name in America.
which
Obviously.
is the last name over here, and in England too. You don't have to come all the way here. It's if you're Canadian, it's still your last name. Okay, Rogers. All right.
You're not far from making fun of somebody either, I guess.
No, I've got a boy at school who is of African descent, and he's not just your average. The reason I'm saying it the way I am is he's not just an African American kid
I
who
understand.
happens to be black. This kid happens to be from Africa. He's got an African bloodline. Okay, he's
Does he play
exceptionally
soccer?
dark. I don't know if he plays any sports, to be honest with you. I know he doesn't draw very well, but anyway. What I know is that his first name is Sincere. Sincere is his first name.
And what's his last name?
Not important. It's definitely an African name, and we'll leave it at that. But then you've also you had a fighter not that long ago from Africa whose first name was Silence, and his name was Silence Mabuza. Just strange first names.
And all begin with S.
People say all the time, "Oh, these Africans, they've got these crazy names." They're not crazy names. They're very normal American words, English words. They're just applying them to their first names, which is a little bit different. But I don't understand it. Rogers is his first name. We just covered a guy last week in Chicago whose first name was Foster.
You just talk for like an hour about something I don't care about.
Just in case. This guy's name. Just in case.
Saturday in Halle, Germany, cruiserweight action. Marco Huck wins a 12-round unanimous decision over Victor Emilio Ramirez. And Amel's a bitch. Wins a cruiserweight championship of the world, 116 to 111 twice, and 115 to 112. Huck still only the one loss, 26-1 with 20 knockouts. Congratulations to Marco Huck. He is still a phenom. He's only got one loss, and it was only against Cunningham.
Yeah, he's a big draw, and we talked to B.J. Flores a couple weeks ago, and sounds like that's the guy that B.J. Flores is looking forward to fighting.
Well, he is definitely interested in the 30,000 people that Huck brings with him.
I don't know.
Was that last week we talked to B.J. Flores?
No, last week we talked to Paulie Malignaggi.
Okay, so 2 weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Getting all these top-notch names, I'm getting them all confused. I'm doing all these name drops.
You should be able to keep your job.
Talking about stupid names.
Well, here's a name that is definitely not stupid, but it's in the L column when I'm not used to seeing that. Heavyweight action. Gabenga Olakun won an eighth round unanimous decision over relentless Lehman Brewster.
Where was this fight at?
Very interesting.
Germany.
This was in Germany. Because Lehman Brewster is now with I cannot remember the name of it, but it's the same promoter that promotes the Giant Valuev. I cannot remember the name of it. Anyway, Olakun 17-1 with 10 knockouts. Brewster moves on down to 35-5. Lehman, what's going on, man? I don't even know this guy's name. How do you lose to him? All right, no problem.
He is 17-1. So.
Brewster was waiting for the knockout punch, and it always comes. And in this case, evidently not. It wasn't televised, at least in the States, but apparently that punch never came. So, Lehman Brewster, man, you were on a comeback, man. He was just on a tear. He was tearing through the heavyweight division again, and I don't understand this. I mean, obviously he wanted to go against a young gun.
And usually when they match somebody up, they take somebody that's not 17-1, 17-5 maybe. You know, they make sure there's a couple losses on their record.
Lehman Brewster's the former heavyweight champion of the world, though. He doesn't need to worry about records at this point.
Well, 17
fight who you fight. I mean,
17-1's a pretty good record. This guy might have something.
It could be garbage too.
He better have something.
I'm going to assume now it's not garbage if you get a decision over Lehman.
Or Lehman didn't take him serious.
Also possible, but maybe we'll have to get Lehman on again and actually discuss all that with him. Saturday night in Tunica, Mississippi, super middleweight Fernando Guerrero TKO victory in the third round over Chris Archer. Sean Porter got a TKO in the first round over Lamar Harris, and Chaz Witherspoon.
Keep going. Finish it.
Chaz Witherspoon got a knockout in the second round over Willie Perryman. Are we? Do we need to take a break?
Yep.
All right, let's go ahead and take a break. We'll be right back. We'll finish up with a recap of Friday night fights. This is Bolo Punch. We'll see you in a second.